Disney just made a ton of announcements about the future of Disney World, and if you're planning a trip in 2027, our advice has changed, but probably not in the way you think. With new projects already underway and several more updates just announced, Disney World will look different next year than most people expect. So today we're breaking down Disney's latest announcements and what it actually means for your vacation, who should visit and who should think twice, and stick around as we reveal the Disney vacation alternative that many people overlook. That way you'll be one step ahead of everyone else in the parks. Welcome aboard. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Disney. Now, if you saw the headlines coming out of D23 last weekend, you might be thinking that Disney World is getting a ton of new attractions in 2027. And it is getting quite a few new updates. But here's the catch. A lot of what was announced at D23 aren't actually confirmed for next year. And there's still a lot of questions about opening dates for the attractions we know are coming. And that's important if you're trying to decide when in 2027 to visit. Now, the biggest addition Disney has promised for next year is Tropical Americas at Animal Kingdom. We already knew that Dinoland USA was being transformed into Pueblo Esperanza, but D23 Disney revealed more details about its two major attractions. DINOSAUR is becoming Indiana Jones and the Myth of the Jade Serpent, an entirely new Indiana Jones adventure involving an ancient Maya temple, supernatural dangers, and a massive serpent inspired by Maya mythology. And the new Encanto attraction finally has a name, Antonio's Fiesta de Encanto. You'll enter Casita on Antonio's gift day and explore new rooms created specifically for the attraction. So these are expected to be coming to Animal Kingdom in 2027, but Disney has yet to announce an official opening date. They didn't even give us a season. So we would be very hesitant to book a summer 2027 vacation right now, assuming that those attractions will be open. At D23, Disney also confirmed that Monstropolis will be opening at Hollywood Studios in 2027, but there's a very important catch. The big attraction everybody's waiting for, the Suspended Doors coaster, isn't part of what Disney says will be opening next year. Disney's D23 announcement specifically said that when the land opens, guests will be able to see Mike and Sully in a new theater show, visit locations like Harry Houson's, eat at Archie's Scary Pig Pizza, and explore the Monster World. But it looks like that innovative new coaster won't be open until at least 2028. Now, of course, could Disney surprise us and that roller coaster open later in 27? Possible, but unlikely. Now, Disney hardcore fans like Heidi and I were excited that we did get at least one confirmed announcement, sort of. At Magic Kingdom, Disney announced that the updated Carousel of Progress will be opening late spring 2027. Now, Disney showed off its new 1980s scene and confirmed that Jamie Lee Curtis and Bryan Cranston will voice Mom and Dad. Now, is anyone planning an entire Disney World vacation around an updated Carousel of Progress? Probably not. Let us know in the comments section if you're just as excited as we are about the updates coming to Carousel of Progress. Now, if you're watching this video, you might be thinking, oh, well, 2027 is definitely not a year to visit Disney World. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Because if you haven't visited Disney World in 2026 or in 2025, there are already a surprising number of new and updated experiences that you haven't seen yet. And of course, if you're planning your first ever trip to Walt Disney World, well, you haven't seen any of it yet. And by the time 2027 rolls around, you'll essentially be getting 2 years of Disney World updates in one vacation. Now, over at Magic Kingdom, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad reopened this May after being closed for more than a year, and the ride received massive refurbishment along with new effects and return of the Rainbow Caverns. Then there's Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, which opened in April with a much-needed upgrade. Their new ride vehicles, handheld blasters, and interactive targets that respond when you hit them. At Hollywood Studios, this May, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run received its new Mandalorian and Grogu missions. Riders can now influence which destinations the Falcon visits, including locations like Coruscant and Bespin, and Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets is now open. The coaster itself hasn't changed, but Aerosmith is gone, and the entire experience now revolves around the Electric Mayhem trying to make it to their concert on time. Also at Hollywood Studios, the animation courtyard underwent an even bigger transformation. The outdoor Walt Disney Studios courtyard, and later this summer, the Magic of Disney Animation is scheduled to open with new character meet and greets, the Drawn to Wonderland play area, and drawing classes with Disney Animation and Olaf. And if you have little kids, over at Animal Kingdom, Bluey and Bingo arrived at Conservation Station with Bluey's Wild World, where families can meet the characters, play games inspired by the show, and see animals from Australia. Over at Epcot, Soaring Across America debuted in May of this year with an entirely new flight across the United States. Now, Disney hasn't said how long this new flight will last, so it's possible it could be gone by the end of this year, or sometime in early 2027, or it could stay there for years. We don't know yet. And if it's been a few years, there's other updates too, like the updated test track, Disney Starlight Parade, Zootopia Better Together, The Little Mermaid Show, and Disney's Villains Unfairly Ever After at Hollywood Studios. Disney is constantly changing, and those updates the last couple of years make many of the parks feel very different than they were just a few years ago. And then there are the new announcements from D23. The Dreamfinder is finally returning with Figment at Epcot. Spaceship Earth is getting its first update in 20 years, and Disney says the Yeti inside Expedition Everest is finally coming back to life. No more Disco Yeti. The problem though, Disney didn't give us a timeline for any of these. No opening dates, closure dates. Disney didn't even say these updates are happening in 2027. And looking at Disney's recent track record, an announcement doesn't necessarily mean an attraction is about to close. Disney announced the new Country Bear musical Jamboree in September of 2023, and that show closed about 4 months later. But the Muppets takeover of Rock and Roller Coaster was announced in November 24. Aerosmith wasn't kicked out until 16 months later, March of 2026. But changes to that ride did occur over time, and Rock and Roller Coaster was only completely unavailable for a few months while the Muppets took over. Likewise, Tiana's Bayou Adventure was announced years before Splash Mountain actually closed. So there's really no predictable timeline. An attraction could close a few months after an announcement, or it could remain open for another year or longer. So we wouldn't assume that Figment, Spaceship Earth, or Expedition Everest will be closed during your 2027 vacation. At the same time, we wouldn't assume they'll be updated either. The same goes for bigger projects Disney showed off. We got a lot more information about Piston Peak and Villains Land at D23, but Disney still hasn't given us opening dates for either one, and it looks like those projects won't go live until 2028 at the earliest. It took over 4.5 years from the announcement of New Fantasyland expansion at Magic Kingdom to officially open, so we know it will take time for both these projects. So with everything we know right now, should you actually plan a Disney World vacation for 2027? For some of you, we think the answer is absolutely yes. First off, if you've never been to Disney World, if 2027 is going to be your first Disney World vacation, we wouldn't wait. Yes, we know there are updates coming in the future, and there will always be another new attraction just a few years away. Walt Disney himself said Disneyland will never be finished. But if you haven't experienced anything at Disney World, and 2027 is when you can do it, don't put it off. Along with all the classic attractions that you know, and some of the updates we mentioned, you still have other amazing rides like Rise of the Resistance, Guardians of the Galaxy, Tron, and Flight of Passage, plus all 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and Disney Springs. So we wouldn't postpone a trip for years just to wait for Disney's construction projects to finish, because honestly, there's probably going to be construction at Disney World for the next decade. And if you are planning your first ever Disney trip and starting to feel a little overwhelmed, we completely understand. That's why we want to send you a completely free copy of our Ultimate Disney World Planning Guide, just updated for 2026. That includes the insider tips and tricks that will take you from booking to inside the parks. It includes everything we wish we knew before our first trip to Disney World all those years ago. Plus, it includes a budget worksheet, packing guide, and a planning checklist. So scan the QR code on screen or use our exclusive link down in the description and download your completely free copy today. But if your dates are flexible, we would lean toward later in 2027. That gives Tropical Americas more time to open, gets you past the Carousel of Progress update, and potentially gives Disney time to finish some of the other projects we don't have dates for. Now, if you haven't visited in several years, we give similar advice if your last Disney World vacation was back in 2024 or earlier. By 2027, a lot will change since your last trip. Now, if you were just at Disney World in 2025 or in 2026 and you're already wondering whether you should go back next year, here's where we would suggest maybe you wait, especially if you've already experienced most of this year's edition. With some really big things on the horizon, Cars, Villains Land, and Monsters Inc. Door Coaster, 2028 might be a better year for you. Now, that doesn't mean that 2027 is a bad year to visit. If you love the festivals, have an annual pass, get a great resort deal, or simply enjoy being at Disney World, regardless of what's new, there's no reason not to go. I mean, listen, you're talking to annual pass holders who are grown Disney adults here. But if you're saving up for a big Disney vacation and you've been to Disney World recently, in fact, 2027 might be the perfect year to spend that Disney vacation somewhere else. Because if you're a big Disney fan, there are some pretty interesting alternatives that you should consider next year. Let's start with Disneyland. If you've never been, we certainly wouldn't tell you to wait. There's already plenty at Disneyland that's completely different from Disney World. And Disney's actually bringing back some significant entertainment in 2027. In February, a refreshed version of Remember, Dreams Come True returns to Disneyland Park. This is a nighttime fireworks spectacular celebrating classic Disneyland attractions. Also in February, the original World of Color returns to Disney California Adventure. And in summer 2027, Magic Happens Daytime Parade returns to Disneyland Park. If you want to go international, Tokyo Disney Resort is a different story. We actually visited Tokyo Disney Resort earlier this year, and even before the announcements, we thought it was one of the best Disney experiences anywhere. And 2027 could make it even better for those willing to travel. Tokyo Disneyland is getting Sugar Rush Sweet Rescue, the new Wreck-It Ralph attraction replacing Buzz Lightyear. There is also the completely rebuilt Space Mountain in Tomorrowland scheduled for 2027. Or you could head to Disneyland Paris. The resort already looks considerably different after the transformation of its second park into Disney Adventure World and the opening of World of Frozen this year. But there's another potential huge addition on the way. Disney's first ever attraction, based on The Lion King, is currently under construction. This will be a major water-based attraction taking guests beneath Pride Rock, surrounded by whole new Lion King theming, but yet Disney has not confirmed if it will open in 2027 or not. And then there's another option where we don't necessarily think you need to wait for anything new next year, Disney Cruise Line. Disney is getting a new ship in 2027, Disney Believe, and they did reveal a few details about this new ship. They showed us Tinkerbell on the bow, Buzz and Woody on the stern, and the statue of Moana that will be in the Grand Hall. But that's all we've learned. We still don't know its restaurants, bars, its Broadway-style show, or most of its unique venues. But as I just mentioned, Disney Believe is another Wish-class ship, so we expect essentially the same layout, and the remaining venues will either be the same or variations of what we already have on Disney Wish, Disney Treasure, and Disney Destiny. So if a Disney cruise is on your radar for 2027, we wouldn't wait for Believe. Right now, we would recommend Disney Treasure. We've sailed on all three current Wish-class ships, and Treasure is our favorite. You got Plaza del Coco, the first theatrical dining experience based on Coco. There's Disney's The Tale of Moana, which is still one of the best shows Disney Cruise Line has created. And you have the Haunted Mansion Parlor and the Skipper Society, the Jungle Cruise inspired lounge, with a lot of other Disney park touches throughout the ship. And another big advantage, you can book Disney Treasure right now, as Disney Cruise Line has yet to release sailings and details about pricing for Disney Believe. So you can probably get better prices and cheaper cruise fares on comparable Disney Treasure sailings right now and not have to wait to see what will happen with Disney Believe. And unless Disney reveals something about Believe that completely changes our opinion, booking a Disney Treasure cruise right now will potentially save you money, will also lock in your vacation dates, that way you know where you're going next year, and odds are you'll be sailing on the best Disney Cruise Line Wish-class ship, especially if you're a Disney Parks aficionado. And that's the real decision for 2027. If you've never been to Disney World, go. If you haven't visited in several years, we'd still lean to going to Disney World, but we'd wait for a little bit more clarity on Tropical Americas before choosing your dates. But if you've recently been, you might get a more meaningful, different Disney vacation at international resorts, Disneyland, or Disney Cruise. And regardless of the Disney vacation you choose next year, our travel partners at MouseFan Travel are here to help. We love working with our personal travel consultant, Blair, who navigates all the options to help us find the ideal Disney adventure and ensure we get a great deal. Plus, they can help with all the logistics of planning your trip, whether it's a cruise, a theme park, Adventures by Disney, or any other travel. So scan the QR code on screen or click our exclusive link down in the description to get your free, no obligation quote. And of course, we have plenty of the great Disney reviews, tips, and advice videos right here on YouTube to help you stay one step ahead of everyone else in the parks.